Hello and welcome back. This is your mid-month tarot tune-up for April. And know that if you're watching this and it's not April, this medicine is still valid, it is still useful, and it's meant for you if you're finding it. So earlier this month, we talked about our anchor, which is Six of Swords. And this is a card, an energy of really reaching for a higher perspective, widening our circles of support, and it's also an expansion. So this is going to tie in beautifully with the card that came up, the energy that came up for our mid-month tune-up to kind of fine-tune our energy this month, or an opportunity to fine-tune how we're engaging with the world. And our card is Child of Swords, also known as Page of Swords. So this is a beautiful energy about bringing more of ourselves forward in some way. And this energy speaks to the parts of ourselves that are hungry to learn. And it speaks to like the eternal learner, like being hungry for information, really curious, wanting to learn, no matter what age you are, being curious and learning and finding new things of interest. And this energy is asking us to share more from that place. So sometimes the things that can get kicked up when it comes to our brain with this is, oh, I'm not an expert, so I don't have a right to speak about it, or nobody cares what I have to say, or I don't know enough, or I need more training, more certifications, more experience, whatever. But the truth is that what we have to say, our perspective, matters. No matter how new you are to something, sometimes you can bring something that is so totally new because you haven't been in the field for very long. You know, there's this freshness, there's this newness, you know, this sort of like this beautiful possibility energy. So trust that whatever it is that you have in your heart, that you're curious about, that you've been learning about, that is something that is so beautiful for you to share with the world, and it needs to be shared. So how can you get that out? You know, maybe it's a conversation with somebody. Maybe it starts small. Maybe it's a social media post. Maybe it's joining a group and talking about it. And I'm not saying that we hide our experience level and say we're an expert when we're not, but just be like, hey, like I'm exploring this new thing and it's really interesting and it's intriguing me and I want to share about my experience. And there's something really powerful when you can do that. It's vulnerable, it's real, it's raw, and people are drawn to that. I know for me, I used to do this thing, and this sounds very odd, but for me, it was really cathartic. I would do like little videos with myself, and I actually didn't share it with anybody. It was just important for me to talk and have a space where I could express. And it was like a journal vlog, you know, like it was like my diary, but on my phone. And for me, that was such a healing and empowering thing to do, because it was like I was seeing myself and I was talking and I was expressing. So you can be creative with how you go about this, and also know that it's a gift for whoever you choose to share it with. So let's talk for a moment about the interplay of our energy for the month and the mid-month tune-up. So we talked about the energy of this month being an expansion. So anytime we expand, the brain kicks up and kind of wants to pull us down into safety, into familiar, into the known. So I think it's quite fitting that we got this energy around Page of Swords, Child of Swords, around expressing ourselves and sharing more of ourselves, because that's an expansion. Sharing of yourself requires us to kind of break through that discomfort and we don't know how it will be received. We don't know if we'll be rejected. The brain can kick up a lot of fear around that. And we can still choose to share, to express, to trust in ourselves. And so another thing that I think is really important to ground ourselves in is that what is most important here is the sharing and expressing of whatever it is that you have to share. It's not so much about focusing on how it's received. You know, those are two very different things. The ego wants to focus on how it's received. How many likes did it get? How many comments? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. The soul just wants to express. The soul knows that the beauty is in the sharing of it, the being of it, the expression of it. And when we can stay in that energy, when we can really stay in the, wow, I can receive a healing just by sharing this. And like, I can turn off my computer and walk away. And like, I know that I did my part. I know that I trusted my soul. I trusted my truth. And that is what we're looking for here. Not so much, okay, I'm gonna put this out, but I only did it right if people are responding well. That energy kind of mucks it up. And it makes it kind of impossible to succeed when we focus in that way. So how can we root ourselves back into the present moment, back into this like energy of how fun it is to learn and the excitement of sharing that, and then letting it go, you know, and then practicing it again and letting it go. It's this beautiful thing. And another thing that's popping into my head, this is something Stephanie Barton had once, she's a psychic, and she had once shared this tip with me. And I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful practice in letting go. And it's like, buy yourself some flowers, some fresh flowers every week if you can, and then watch them die. Watch them, you know, turn and change. Like, they're beautiful, and then the leaves fall off, and then, you know, they look different, and then you toss them out or you compost them and you get some new ones, and you begin to trust in this receiving and letting go and beauty and death, and being able to see it helps you experience it in a different way. So focusing wherever you can on speaking your truth, and this can also be very healing in relationships. So being able to speak what's on your heart, and then to not need the other person to respond in any way. You know, this is just really great wisdom for living in the present, you know, present moment, wisdom. It can be really difficult, yet it's simple. So really leaning into the simple this month, for the rest of this month, for these 2 weeks, and practice sharing. And again, notice what comes up. You can hold space for that, and you can still choose to trust in your soul and your truth. So I hope that this served you. Let me know what questions you have below, and I'll chat with you next month.